Hello, in this video I want to analyze the schematic diagram of a power supply of LED TV Samsung 32-inch. Now you can see the AC voltage will enter here and rectify by 4 diodes and filtered by the 2 capacitors. The voltage here will increase to about 280 volts. The AC voltage 220 volts will enter here and rectified by 4 diodes and filtered by the 2 capacitors. Now you can see this IC will create the oscillation to provide for the MOSFET to work. This IC will create the oscillation to provide for the MOSFET to work. This MOSFET will open and close continuously according to the frequency of this IC. This MOSFET will open and close continuously according to the frequency of this IC. When the MOSFET works, the current flowing through the primary coil and through the MOSFET to the ground. This coil will create the magnetic field flow through the iron powder core of the transformer. All secondary windings of the transformer will induce electricity. All secondary windings of the transformer will induce electricity. Now you should pay attention the 4 resistors. The 4 resistors are connected in series to supply the power for this IC at pin 4 at the beginning. Now you should remember about this. The 4 resistors supply the power for this IC at the beginning, and then this coil will induce electricity and rectify by 4 diodes to supply the power for this IC at pin 8. The 4 resistors Now, let's see the coil. The two diodes will rectify the voltage 14 volts to supply for the T-con board. When we press the power on button, this MOSFET will conduct electricity to supply the voltage for the T-con board. When we press the power off button, this MOSFET will not conduct electricity So no voltage here. Now you should pay attention to this MOSFET. This MOSFET is the P-channel MOSFET. Now let's see this coil. The two diodes will rectify the voltage 5 volts to supply for the main board. Here is the voltage stabilizer IC. When we press the power on button, this IC will conduct electricity to supply the voltage 5 volts for the main board. When we press the power off button, this IC will not conduct electricity, so no voltage here. Now, let's look at the coil, this coil. The two diodes will rectify the voltage 100 volts to supply for the booster circuit to control LED strips. When we press the power on button, the booster circuit will work. The voltage here will increase to about 160 volts. The LED strips will light up. The voltage here will also increase to about 115 volts. When we press the power off button, the booster circuit doesn't work. The voltage here will drop to about 110 volts. The LED strips will turn off. The voltage here will also drop to about 100 volts. Now you can see the booster circuit consists of a MOSFET and the IC. Here is the IC. Here is the MOSFET. The voltage stabilizer IC. The voltage stabilizer IC. The MOSFET. The MOSFET. This MOSFET is the P-channel MOSFET. I wish you a successful repair. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to click subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.